it is time again. It has been a long time coming, but we are back from everything. I went on vacation for a week, came home, had to jump right into the real life. Everyone fucking hates the real life, right? Had to do it. Had to jump in right back into the fire. So obviously it's taken me a sec to sit back down and give you another pod. But man, wrestling has not stopped. I can tell you that much. In fact, on vacation, I had to watch World's End on basically the most shoestring internet I think I've ever strung together. And we did it, and we got through it, and it was so worth it. I think we also did the same thing with Dynamite. Yeah, we basically, my wife and I were like wrestling, psyops. We were like jumping around, like where the fuck can we watch this stuff? Because we're around family, and they don't trust me. My family specifically does not give two shits about pro wrestling. My dad has made it real clear, like, I don't get it, man. So we don't bother with that. But we made it work. We came back home. Even more shit happened, my God. And of course, the real center of this entire show, which we'll get to in a moment, is, yes, wrestling in the mainstream is streaming. It is truly a streaming era for both sides, AEW, WWE. And I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, I think we're cooking with gas. I think this has been so far a wonderful start to the streaming era of pro wrestling. And so of course we got to start with World's End. As I always say on this show, you're not going to get, a concise, might even argue say smart, breakdown of every moment that's ever happened in the history of the business. I'm going to leave that to everyone that's better than me at it. I'm going to give you the quick hits. And for World's End, quick hits, holy fuck, it starts with Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. What a fucking opener. An incredible match in the semifinals. Of course, Ospreay got the win, despite having, I think, the top third of his head literally cut off of him. The blood was intense. It was crazy. And it set a beautiful scene for the final. And of course, then on the other side, it was Okada and Ricochet. And I thought it was a nice match. I was shocked at how short it was, but it made sense, obviously, to give the real time to other matches like, obviously, Ospreay and who would end up winning this match, which, of course, was Okada. And, I mean, at this point, I'm losing my mind, right? I'm like, oh, my God, we're really getting a beautiful final for the C2 this year, and something that feels epic, just like last year with Eddie and Jon Moxley. I think TK did a fantastic job this year on the Continental Classic. A lot of criticism. Every year it gets rolled out, the dummies that can't have a spreadsheet to save their life. They're like, oh my God, I need a degree to follow the C2. No, you don't. You just have to actually care about the product. That was great. Of course, we got the International Championship match. Powerhouse Hobbs challenging his former Don Callis family member, Konosuke Takeshita. And dude, what a great match. I thought it was fun. I thought working the whole, the classic wrestling psychology of, break down the big man, tear his knee out. And that's exactly what Big Take did. He's a genius, and he survived that match. So that was beautiful. I like the storyline there. It's interesting when we'll get to in a minute, though, the Powerhouse situation. It's not a bad thing, but it's like, whoa, we go from extremes here. Let's think here. Oh God, I mean, Mariah May and Thunder Rosa had a great Tijuana street fight with, of course, Mariah getting the big win. And I was surprised there wasn't an appearance from the rookie Tony Storm, but I think we're gonna, she's got to win some matches. She's got to build herself up in the company. I understand that. You can't just be handing out championship opportunities, even willy nilly, especially to some unproven talent. But I thought that was great, and over the last 2 weeks, I think AEW's women's division has leveled up in a tremendous way. And it couldn't have done it even more when we got Mercedes and Chris Statlander for the TBS title. I think it was better than their first match, and their first match was really, really good. This one was just on another level. And I think Mercedes Moné, and I said this not too long ago, I think late in last year that Mercedes Moné made a great case as a late Wrestler of the Year candidate. I think her last 3 months of 2024 were as good as anybody else's on this planet Earth. She had banger after banger. Went from the first Statlander match to the Mizuki classic of classics. Or Hazuki, Jesus. Now I feel bad. But either way, the awesome New Japan Strong showing. And then, of course, she goes from this to the Mina Shirakawa match at Wrestle Dynasty, which was also a great match, where she ended up winning the Rev Pro Women's title. She's dripping with gold now. And it's interesting, though, because really, we haven't seen her since all of that, right? Like, I know that she just was in Japan. I assume Tony doing the right thing, honestly, and going, you know what? You busted your ass. You deserve to rest for at least a week. I'm sure she'll be on the show next week, or maybe even Collision. But yeah, I thought that it was a great showing between her and Chris Statlander at World's End. On to MJF and Roddy. Is that what we're doing? No, MJF and Adam Cole. See, I'm losing my fucking mind, folks. It's been way too goddamn long. And full disclosure, I don't write notes because, contrary to what people think, by the way, and this is going to be a total aside. And you know what the worst part about this show is, too? A little inside baseball. I actually have a time constraint to get this fucking show recorded. And I'm meandering. Can you be any more troubles here? That's why it's troubles, That's what we live with. We live with troubles constantly in this fucking vortex I've created for myself. But either way, it's been so goddamn long that fucking I have sat down and done one of these. I mean, literally, it's been astronomically long. I want to say 20 days since I fucking did one of these, okay? So, excuse me. MJF Adam Cole was what it needed to be. It was a good match. I think we all agree this shit needed to fucking die off a fucking cliff into a fire. I mean, this fucking angle was snake bit from day fucking one. But we finally got something in the ring. Thank God. And, of course, it was for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And, of course, MJF ain't losing that motherfucker. And he doesn't here. But Adam Cole, and, this is the heartwarming part of AEW. Adam Cole lost the match, but he got back his best friends. You Undisputed Kingdom, with the addition of Kyle O'Reilly. However, last night, as I record this, on fucking Dynamite, on Max, streaming on Max, he came out to the conglomeration video, and I'm like, hold it. Didn't you just do this big thing? Whatever. Somebody suggests that the video guy is still out on holiday, and we'll go ahead and use that as canon at this point. Either way, hey, listen, I was all for the Undisputed Kingdom before everything snake bit it. It's interesting that they're going with that. Maybe I'm just used to the WWE way of doing shit where you just scrap that shit and move on. Good on Tony Khan for not, giving up on it. And, it's a group that's been here, but not really established because Cole's been fucking off and they kind of teased that maybe he wasn't going to be part of it anyway. Now, we can really fully flesh this thing out, hopefully to God. Let's knock on wood on that one, because I just feel so awful that Cole gets hurt and this guy gets hurt and now Wardlow, I don't know where the fuck that guy is. We need a Bolo out. Where the fuck is Wardlow? He needs to be on my TV. He needs to be on Max every week. Collision, Dynamite. I don't give a fuck. Give me Wardlow. The guy's awesome. And then, of course, was there a fucking Jericho match? Please tell me there was no Jericho match. For the love of God, I'll lose my mind. I'll cry if you tell me. If someone in the ether right now, because I'm not on anything, I'm not streaming this. Someone in the ether, send me a message through fucking telepathy to tell me that there was no goddamn Jericho match. Please tell me. Either way, if there was, it was not memorable, so we will move on to the classic, the championship round, Okada and Ospreay. This was phenomenal. I know that's going to shock all of you. Whoa, I can't believe it. Kazuchika Okada and fucking Will Ospreay had a banger, guys. I know. You can't believe it. Me neither. Ospreay coming out, still wrapped up, bleeding, dried blood on him. Really gross. Very Cactus Jack 1995. I love it. And they just fucking went out there and had a great wrestling match. I mean, these two guys are the pinnacle in ring of the business today. I really truly believe that. Whether you like somebody or not, it doesn't matter. I think Okada and Ospreay are as good pro wrestlers as there are on this earth, and they both wrestle for AEW, and they fucking put on a great match. And fucking kudos to TK for not just going with the hot hand and going, you know what, Ospreay's probably the most over guy in my company right now. We're going to give him the belt. We're going to give him the championship, the tournament win. No. He went the other way and said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to further cement Okada as like truly the final boss of the company. And I really hope that they keep this going forward. I think it's a great spot for him. A lot of people have been complaining, well, he's not on my TV every week. I think that's good. And not anything against him. I think it makes Okada feel more important. My thing is, though, I will agree, he needs to be on TV more. I don't like this once, twice a month thing, but I definitely think that he should be protected at all costs because he's a guy that is just so special in the ring. And I feel like, he shouldn't just be having fucking TV matches to have them, have them mean something, have them be on a Maximum Carnage, a special event Dynamite or something, make it very important. And of course, Okada wins this match. Out comes old Christopher Daniels. He says, listen, I'd love to come down there and give you this championship belt, but I can't do it because I'm not EVP anymore. Because the real MVP, or Jesus MVP, I got Hurt Syndicate in my mind. What do you want me to do? We didn't talk about, we got to talk about this first. Ricochet getting cucked in the ring by Swerve, and he just got TP'd in the ring, but it was very cuckish. It was very shameful for him, and that was beautiful. That was after Okada whooped his ass. I just had to put that in the show. That was beautiful. That was a good little angle there. That was a good little piece of business, if the old timers would say. So with that, Daniel says, I'm not EVP anymore. The real one's back. Out comes Kenny motherfucking Omega to hand the title to Okada. And we get a very intense stare down here. And folks, I think that we're going to get an Omega Okada match sometime this year again, and holy fuck, the world will be better for it. Of course, we'll get into what Omega's big Dynamite return resulted in, and that's another thing that is very exciting. Right now, AEW got a lot of beautiful things going down. Raw, it debuted on Netflix, and I'm just going to go ahead and give you the very brief synopsis because I'll say this. People's expectations online confuse me. I'll start with that because it started with the Max debut of AEW, which I thought was great. I loved the three-way between Roddy, Jay White, and Swerve. Great match. I thought that the main event even rated FTR. Yes. Copeland came out for the World's End. Oh, God, we didn't talk about the main event of World's End. What am I talking about? The four-way. It was Moxley, the champion, defending against Hanger, Orange Cassidy, and Jay White. It was a great match. It was what you want in a multi-man main event. It reminded me a lot, in a very good way, of the Attitude Era multi-man main events that they would do. And I hope that they do that. I don't know if I said this in the last episode, but I think right now AEW is so stacked with talent that I think now is the time that moving belts around is a good thing. I think sometimes with Tony Khan, I hate to say it, he protects his belts almost too much. I think, I get with the Okada thing because the aura and the tournament, it all kind of fell in, and that's fine. Sometimes that's fine. But like with this Moxley thing, right? It's an angle. He's holding the belt hostage. But let's look at like the TBS title. Let's look at the women's title, the TNT title. They did just move that one, thank God. Went from Jack Perry to Daniel Garcia. I just hope they do something with it. The internationals with Takeshita. I think you've got enough talent that let's move things around a little bit. And I hope that happens this year, because I think that's for the better. I think a lot of the frustration with a lot of the fan base is because it's like it becomes predictable only because the guys that are getting protected. So they go into these matches with people and you're like, well, I know he's not going to lose. And that's not fun, I don't want to know everything. I know I've been watching this 5 million years. I know my fucking social security number is dirt. I understand that, okay? But I still want a little bit, and I just feel like that doesn't happen a lot. Although they had a lot of fun, false finishes here with Mox fucking getting shield bombed by the rest of the guys. That was a good little Easter egg. And of course, at the end of the day, the Death Riders are fucking assholes. They all came out. They fucked everyone over. Mox ends up keeping the belt. But old fucking Cope, debuting his new name, Cope came out, of course, to run off Mox. And, hey, it's exciting. I love Cope being here. People are unhappy that he changed his name from Adam Copeland to Cope. Hey, guys. He likes 4-letter names. It's fine. But, yeah. That leads us to the Max debut. Fight for the Fallen. Great show. Like I said, that 3-way with Jay White, Roddy, and Swerve was great. Everything was great. Julia Hart, Jamie Hayter, all that stuff was great. But people came in and they're like, we have ads. And it's like, well, no shit. It's a simulcast. But then again, I forget. See, I've been watching hockey on Max for like a year now. And I've had ads. I understood. It's the TNT feed. I understand this. It's the TBS feed for Dynamite. But people get very, again, we live in the streaming age. And that is one thing that people are very used to, is having the no ads thing. And it's great. Trust me. I'd rather that. But it doesn't kill me, to be honest. Because I have perspective a little bit. I remember having to quite literally run around the fucking earth to find a certain VHS that I wanted to watch. So the fact that I have it on my remote, I can just hit a button and I'm watching Dynamite right now. I don't give a fuck. I'll sit through an ad. It's no problem. Plus, thank God AEW Plus on Triller is so inexpensive that like I've kept it. And the way I do it is this. If there's a match that was great, I then go right on Triller and I watch it in its full capacity. But I'd rather do that on my computer. It's a bitch with the VPN. Listen, guys, I'm a boomer. Okay, I'm basically a fucking internet boomer. So certain things are not seamless for me, and I get very annoyed. So I love having that convenience. Plus, the fucking quality on Max for AEW has been unreal. So yeah, and then of course the Raw on Netflix. Let's just get into it. I mean, it ain't gonna take long. Like I said, ads are one thing, but when all the show fucking is in the first hour is pandering, talking, entrances, video, I mean, motherfucker, I felt like I was getting fucking beat over the head with every ad ever, every shit fucking moment. It's like, oh my God, you would have thought that fucking Jesus Christ was appearing on fucking Raw tonight. And he did not. He did not. So the highlights to Raw are very simple. There's only really a very small handful of them. Number one, I didn't hate the Roman Solo tribal combat. It was fun, you know. It was very much, though, the WrestleMania main event thing where everyone ran out, everyone had a part. But that's cool. You know, the crowd was hot. I think it was a very good opener to have Roman out there. I mean, God, he's the biggest star in the world right now. And of course, he wins. And then we had The Rock come out and give him the fucking, I can't say the name, but the fucking peppers. He's the Pepper King. Again, huge. I don't know if he necessarily ever lost it, but either way, he's the Pepper King again. I love that. I didn't like that The Rock was just everywhere. It's like, fuck, dude, I love The Rock too, but come on, you know, you're being Triple H 2003 right now. But that match happened, and another hour later, quite literally, was fucking, I'm trying to think, was Jay and Drew McIntyre, I think. And that was a great match too. Loved it. Great. McIntyre whooping Jey Uso's ass. Fucking love it. Let's go. Except Jey Uso won. So I don't know what happened there. But either way, it's like, all right, that was a good match. Are we getting more matches? No, we are not. We're getting Hulk Hogan to come out and get booed out of the Intuit fucking dome or whatever in LA. That was fucking awesome. That was beautiful. It was the best moment in WWE in a long time for me. And by the way, WWE, if you fucking think that was actual heel heat, you're dumb. Nobody wants to see him. That's what the heat is. No one wants to see this motherfucker. He's an asshole. So yeah, that was awesome. Rhea, Liv Morgan for the women's world title. Very fun, very great. Rhea finally getting that belt back. And hey, I'll say this, all right? And if you're watching this on YouTube, you know that as part of the thumbnail, and I probably am going to get heat, but hey, you know what? I'm used to heat, okay? I did think it was fucking cool that Undertaker came out in his American Badass shit, and basically, someone did put it great, though. Oh, nice to see Taker getting the Rhea rub. Either way, I thought it was neat, a neat little interaction. I like that. I do appreciate that WWE can do this stuff because they have these people, you know. But with that said, let's keep it at this, you know. Let's keep it at an appearance and an endorsement and not fucking have Taker on my TV every week. Less old guys. And that's coming from an old guy, by the way. But I get it. I get the wrestling business. It's a fucking let's go. In and out. Fuck. I think people have really forgotten how important that is. You need talent to be constantly churning, and you need those top guys to be top guys, but you need them to, when it's time, which it's past time with Taker, go the fuck out of here. You know, be missed. So I thought that was cool. Chad Gable, we got the reveal before Chad Gable fucking went in there and was like, I want to fight a luchador for no reason. Penta is in WWE. He's coming to Raw, and next week he will be wrestling Chad Gable. That's fucking wild. I just hope he gets a fair shot. I don't want to see him get Andrade. I don't want to see him get Santos Escobar, because that shit's lame. These guys can fucking work. They have a very, very big part of this planet that they connect with. Thanks to their Hispanic heritage, and more importantly, just their Spanish speaking, because, you know, a lot of the world does speak Spanish, not just Hispanic fucking places. So, you know, utilize that. And Penta's a great wrestler, and he's very unique. So I hope he gets a shot in WWE. And of course, the main event, Rollins and Punk. And I'll give you this. I mean, I thought it was a good match. But why? You know, I mean, I guess they're revving up old Phil for the fucking WrestleMania run he didn't get last year. I mean, I'm already preparing for it, and that's fine, you know. My complete and utter disdain has not gone away, but I've learned that it doesn't matter how much I hate this dude. He's here to stay. He's a fucking top guy. People respond to him. And I would be a fucking idiot if I didn't mention that and, recognize that. So, hey, awesome. I hope that everyone is happy with whatever happens with him at the Royal Rumble, at WrestleMania. That's cool. Of course, speaking of the Royal Rumble, we had John Cena come out, say he's joining the Rumble, so now people think he's going to win it. It just is feeling very boomer right now in WWE. I don't like that. So, that leads us to Dynamite last night. And man, AEW just has been doing this great thing where they just keep topping themselves. They really, really have done a phenomenal job, especially of these last 2 weeks. And they know, they've definitely taken this Max arrival very seriously. And I haven't even talked about Collision. Collision was great too. We had the learning tree against Rated FTR. That was great. Following the Fight for the Fallen win that Rated FTR had over the Death Riders. Same thing here. It's always fun to see Jericho and Cope, kind of do things because they're very, very good. I thought the highlight of Collision, though, was easily the Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia TNT title match opener. And that, that says a lot because it was literally wedged in between Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty. And by the way, there will be a whole other episode for those two shows. It was too much, and I didn't have the time to throw it on here, so I will actually do a whole other edition for that, for those shows for this weekend, because there's a lot to get into with New Japan right now, and I loved those shows. So, Dynamite. Last night, Clarksville, Tennessee, and again, I'm glad to see that AEW is going to smaller markets and smaller buildings. I think it's good because you see with WWE, they don't go to just big-ass markets. I know they just went to LA, but it was for the Raw on Netflix. You think they would have sold that fucker out without that? No, I don't think so. If it was just a regular Raw and there wasn't this thought that there's going to be all these legends and shit, I don't think they would do that. The economy's down, guys. It's not just a wrestling thing. Whether you're, hot or whatever, quote unquote, with the storylines and stuff, hey man, people don't have money to spend $500 on a fucking wrestling ticket. Trust me. I can't. And I'm fairly okay right now, So yeah, that is the thing, and I'm glad that fucking Tony is realizing like, oh, I don't have to necessarily fucking be in the the fucking biggest market of all time everywhere every week. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do that. So I like Clarksville, Tennessee getting this place. Super, super great. I love the show. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up what the fuck started the show. You know what, Google? I'm going to go ahead, and you guys, this is probably going to be a hot take here. I got heat with Google, okay? I got some big heat with Google right now. You want to know why I got heat with Google? Because it's fucking being slow. And I didn't sign up when I fucking didn't have a choice back in the high school days. When I started using Google, because there was nothing else after a while, I didn't fucking sign up for some bullshit. I got it. Will Ospreay, Buddy Matthews, great match, just like you would expect. A fun, mid-sized match. You know what I mean? A solid TV match, I thought. Buddy Matthews looked phenomenal here, and Ospreay can wrestle the air and have a fucking 4-star match at the very least. He's on a roll. He's on a roll of rolls. He beats Buddy Matthews here, and I liked this. They, at the end, endorsed the fuck out of Buddy Matthews. Ospreay gets on the mic. I thought that was cool. It was like, this guy's great. I love that. And then a great moment. We had Private Party with the ladies. I like the little like Godfather nod. I love that shit. They should have ladies every night now. Okay. Private Party should constantly have a gaggle of women with them because they're about that life. And I think that it really, that visual works for them so well. But they're hanging out, they're partying, and man, right when it's getting fun, Hurt Syndicate comes out. And you know when the Hurt Syndicate shows up, somebody's going to get hurt. But MVP's like, no, you know what? We're going to go in the club. Let's do some shots right now. And of course, Private Party, that's their language. And they're, like, yeah, let's, cheers to Private Party, World Tag Champs. Dope. Cheers to this, cheers to that. And Bobby, cheers to us taking those tag titles. Shelton and I, whoa, you want to talk about I'm ready for something. Let's go. That'll be a great match. Obviously, we feel bad for Private Party because that probably means their fucking run's over because, man, Hurt Syndicate is on another level. And that leads us to the one-on-one match. Bobby Lashley, Mark Briscoe. And this was awesome. If you would have told me this would have been a great competitive match, I would have been like, no way. Mark's doing the job in like 5 to maybe 8 minutes. No. He had a nice competitive match with Bobby Lashley. He looked great here. They really built him up. He was believable. Had some false finishes in there a couple times. But at the end of the day, when you're in the ring with Bobby Lashley, you're getting hurt. And old Mark Briscoe's upper vertebrae got destroyed by the full Nelson. Lashley gets the win. And now we see that they're going for gold. They're going for the tag belts. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. I would have thought that they would have added another member to tag with Shelton. I thought it would have been Max Caster or Ricochet. Doesn't seem like that's the plan, which I think is interesting. I also kind of thought at first, I was like, ooh, they're gonna get Private Party in their little clan. That didn't happen either. So we'll see. Again, you gotta let things breathe, folks. You never know. So I loved it. Great little angle. And again, everyone looks good here. It's not like Private Party look like fucking bitches. They just are on notice. Hey, man, fucking level up or you're going to get your shit taken. That's no big deal. And, of course, this leads us to the men's casino gauntlet match for the AEW World Title opportunity next week in Cincinnati against the world champion in his hometown, Maximum Carnage, yada, yada. Number 1 out, Jay Whitey, won that chance last week. Number 2, who else could it be? Motherfucking Hangman, So they have a great little one-on-one. And then that little piece of shit, Wheeler Yuta, shows up at 3. And you're like, what the fuck? He gets destroyed. He's being a little asshole. And then the asshole of assholes shows up, Ricochet, at 4. You're like, wow. Okay, So that's a fun little deal, Ricochet flipping around. And then the Boom comes at number 5. Not Boom Boom. Not Big Boom AJ. But the original Boom, Adam Cole Bebe. Number 5 comes out. And at this point, I'm like, whoa, this thing's going to be, loaded with stars. Number 6, Daniel Garcia, TNT champ, comes out. I am proven correct. And I'll say this, this match, they do multi-mans better than I think anybody out there. AEW, especially these gauntlet matches. They have kind of perfected it. Like, it never feels like too much. At the end of this, there are 11 people in this match at one time. And it doesn't feel like that. Obviously, we'll get to Jarrett. He's got a whole other thing, but yeah, I thought this was done well. Number 7 was Powerhouse Hobbs, and I was like, whoa, okay. Number 8, Roderick Strong. Number 9, Lance Archer. 10th was Kyle O'Reilly, where they had the weird video. And number 11, last in, Jeff Jarrett. But right as he's coming to the ring, that piece of shit, Wheeler Yuta, had to fuck it up, beat him back to the fucking backstage area. And right as that happens, Hobbs, bam, gets the win. Powerhouse Hobbs wins this motherfucking match. And this is what I'm talking about that I said earlier. I want more of this in AEW. I want to be surprised. This isn't a bad thing. Hobbs deserves this shit. And what a great, let's bring him back in. He's a fucking, he's a world championship level guy. I like this. He doesn't need to win the title next week even. Although, like I just said, you want to talk about making a splash, fucking Hobbs wins the world title next week. Even does maybe by Saturday he loses it. let's fuck around, guys. I think AEW's done a great job of being very, structured and strict on, who they give titles to and pushes. And I get it. That's good. However, let's fuck around, Let's start fucking around, guys. I think it's time. And man, Will Hobbs, big reaction when he wins this match. Nobody looks bad here. And then Jarrett comes out. He's fucking dejected. He looks like he got beat with a fucking paddle in the back by Mama. And MJF interrupts him and gives him a fucking great offer, in my opinion. Hey, man, you're down in your dumps. You only signed a year because, listen, the wrestling business doesn't believe in you past then. And he's fucking giving him a goddamn a truth bomb. But he also gives him some fucking charity. And he says, listen, I'm a former world champion. I'm the man here. What if you let me mentor you? Because again, JJ, yeah, you're a legend, all that shit. But in AEW, you're kind of a piece of shit, right? You're nobody. Although he is the longest reigning AEW champion of any form ever with the Leatherface Championship, I can't disrespect that lineage. However, MJF's like, brother, I was the longest reigning world champion of all time in this company. You need me to win the title. This is long odds for you. What do you think? Jarrett said, fuck you. Nah. And walked out on him. So, listen, I'll say this. I think this Jarrett shit is bizarre. I've never been a huge Jarrett guy. In fact, he is quite literally a meme between my wife and I. She fucking hates this man. She's convinced that I just plant him in the world because I can't tell you how many times we've been watching a random company and I go, there's no way he'll be on this show. And the zenith of that was back in the day in New Japan, 2017. We're watching Wrestle Kingdom and she goes, oh God, what if JJ just shows up? And I go, there's no way. And he literally showed up and joined Bullet Club that night. And I was like, motherfucker, this guy will not die. Okay? Jeff Jarrett is quite literally a wrestling cockroach. Okay? And I'm not shitting on the guy. I really, truly am not. I just don't get it. It's one of those things. I don't get it. But you know what? Good on AEW for using a legend. I think they have really become the standard on how you treat legends in this business. And I think it's a great thing. I think AEW airing the Wrestle Dynasty highlights was also a great thing. I love that about AEW. They are not scared to use other companies' footage or show what happened somewhere else. And that's good. Wrestling is not a tribalist thing. It doesn't have to be that way. Cope comes to the ring and he's spitting mad that he came out against the Death Riders because they were fucking with his friends FTR, so he wanted to level the playing field. And it doesn't hurt that Moxley has the world title. And he says the same thing that MJF and a lot of guys have said. You're holding this title hostage in a bag and a fucking briefcase, and I'm gonna wear it proudly. With that said, out comes fucking the Death Riders, and they get fucking beat up. They beat the fuck out of Cope, okay? And just when you're like, damn, they're fucking him up, out comes Hobbs to save the day. They fuck off. And I'll say this, it kind of weird, not bad, but I think it's weird because I think had they flipped these segments, it would have been better. And what I mean by that is I think maybe this should have opened the show-ish, maybe right after. And you would have been like, oh my God, Hobbs saving Cope. What's this about? Then you have the gauntlet match and then he wins it. And now I think it would have felt a lot better. But instead, this just felt like, well, okay, we're kind of pushing Hobbs quick here. Felt a little shoehorned in this segment. Not going to lie. Felt a little shoehorned. Nothing against him. And it also just makes it like, are you really just straight up telling us that fucking he's losing the fucking match next week? Like, what happened? Either way, hey, we're trying to establish Hobbs, and that's a good thing. Triple threat for the number one spot in the women's casino gauntlet next week. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, and the rookie Toni Storm. This was phenomenal. This was everything that you want out of the women's division. I don't know why it was the only women's segment on the show. I think we needed more. We always need more. Their division is just unbelievable right now. And this match was the showcase of how good this division really is. And another one. We got two shockers in one night. You know, Toni Storm was probably the favorite here, I would imagine. Willow probably second. Statlander, not that she was last for any bad reason. It's just like she just lost to fucking Mercedes for the TBS. She wins the match, though. Beats Toni Storm in the middle of the ring, setting her up for the number one spot next week in the women's gauntlet. I thought it was great. We need to do this shit. Change it up. Toni Storm in the back after the match, very dejected. Hey, you know, I'm going to take my losses, but I'm here for the long haul. I don't think she's going anywhere, folks. I think this rookie has promise. And that leads us to the main event segment. Kenny Omega returns to AEW. Does the heartfelt speech about, you know, his diverticulitis, how he fucking almost goddamn died. I didn't really honestly realize it was that bad. That, of course, in the middle leads to Don Callis, the fucking leech of leeches, coming out. And he goes to go to the ring, and fucking Omega just rushes him. Like, I love that, where, you know, we've progressed this story to where it's on site now. Like, Omega's not listening to Don Callis ever again. He's fucking going after him. He's going for blood. And, of course, Brian Cage and Lance Archer are there to fucking intercept him. And that is to just soften him up for the fucking, the leader of Don Callis family in many ways. I think, you know, obviously Takeshita would have something to say about that, but that's for a later time. Kyle Fletcher comes out to get that fucking, that scalp, you know, get another fucking win under his belt, another fucking legend to kill. And Will Ospreay makes the save for Kenny Omega. Truly surprising. And now you have a beautifully set story. It's Don Callis family wants Omega put out forever. They want Kyle Fletcher to be the one to do it. You know, make him the fucking EVP killer. But Will Ospreay's like, fuck you guys. I know your tactics. I used to use them. And I like, too, there was a face-off between Omega and Ospreay. He's not, like, cool with him. He's just, you know, he's doing the right thing. And I hope that there is a tag sort of little mini run here maybe the next month. I mean, we have a little bit till Grand Slam Australia. I can't imagine Ospreay and Omega not being a big part of that. I'm cool with it. I think this is great. Again, everyone has a purpose, and it's something that AEW hasn't been the best about in the past, where guys just sort of are here and there, and they win a belt, and then it's sort of whatever. They're not the best with that sometimes, but it looks like they're tightening up. These angles are getting really fully fleshed out. And I am very excited for AEW going forward. I think this is as good as AEW's been in a very long time. You know, and I've been rewatching a lot of the older stuff, not just because it's on Max, but I've got Triller. So oddly enough, I fell on 2022 stuff, and a lot of people think that that was kind of the zenith of AEW, so to speak. 21, 22. And it feels better than that. It feels a lot more structured than even that. I'll say that. So, hey, we're in the middle of the wrestling streaming era. It is beautiful. And, you know, listen, this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. I know social media is a bitch, especially wrestling social media. These people are toxic. They'll fuck with you. They'll troll you. Half of these people, by the way, they don't even believe what they're telling you. They don't. They're just trying to get a rise. So instead of giving them that rise, why don't you just, you know, lock that phone, put it to the side, and watch some fucking wrestling. Go talk to people that you trust. Go hang out. Go experience life, because you know what? It's short. And who gives a fuck what any idiot online thinks anyway?